plans that shows, he said, this is all filled in and seeded. I said, whatever your plans say, you do. If it means tearing their shit out, it means you tear it out.
Oh, like tearing out the cul-de-sac, and then drainage and all that.
Right. If it means tearing that seeded grass out, it comes out. They shouldn't have done it for you. That's right. I said, last I knew, Mark was supposed to get a hold on him. He baked it and put it home. It was the last email. That's what I thought the last email said. I told Curtis, I said, you just know what your plans say.
You are a hot mess.
Your third quote.
You following me? I don't let you in.
Hello, good, how are you? And Bam has taken out the trees for 6,900. And he's going to
start it yet?
I don't think Niplock is going to get that at 33,000.
That's half?
Yeah. So this is the guy that Tim gave me. Jill, friends with Jill.
So, coming back to the debate, I told this gal that called me from the League of Women Voters that I'm not going to attend. I went to the one in the spring for the primary, but there's really no need to because it's not Bristol. There's no Bristol people there. Yeah.
Again.
Well, it's kind of a debate. You guys are going to have no voters. Right. So, yeah, so did I. So, what I told her was, it'd be nice if you could have her at the meeting. And she said she told the council that, which, you think you could coordinate with church, your church, if we had an open forum for candidates to debate. Yeah.
I know we had, I was in there one time.
Yeah.
That was at the Opera House.
Okay.
I don't know if the church.
The library is another
The
avenue.
library. Doesn't hold as many people.
Yeah, well, you don't hold a lot of people because not a lot of people are going to show up.
Right. But I do know when I was in the meeting before, we had it at, like I said, the Opera House.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I haven't asked political, but we have voting, so I don't think that we
Right.
a quarter of the
I told her I would check and see.
Right, you only want Brent, I can, that's no problem.
No, I called in the morning because I was sick. We got 2 weeks ago.
But Mike, you know when?
Yeah, it's just whenever we could, obviously before the election.
It'd be an evening, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked to see how. One more week. So I was at a four-way stop, and I noticed how they did their. So cable on top, cable on the bottom. Then at the top cable, they went up above that with the cable, down to the bottom cable and clamped it across. Then went diagonally back to the top of the other side. So it was like a flat V. That kept it right.
Hi, how are you?
3 cables.
Middle there is looks like shot.
You know what, right?
You made it a good one. It's just by
Thank you, Alex. That's very cavalier. Yes.
The rope broke.
That's like a Ford. We fixed it and repaired that every day.
Yeah, I'll explain a little bit why those rope trackers is better use for people watching.
Oh, I like that.
Actually, it's not as important.
Oh.
I think I would do it getting more interesting.
Well, if there's some audience, I usually make a good podium. But I want to get to this podium.
See, we have to leave this because Mike wants you to be up there.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, I want to be on there.
I admit it, is that
I said, he's not in the newspaper anymore, you know.
There he is.
Boys
Not on
excited.
TV.
They're excited. Oh,
Who's excited?
my boys.
Boys.
When I started mine, I got purses out. They know somebody.
They know
Oh.
somebody. They know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, they know somebody.
They know you, Travis.
Huh?
They know you.
Absolutely, but I don't know right now.
And they know me.
Okay, shut up. I don't know what to do.
Really? I remember that in the future.
Remember,
We heard your first.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We talked to him on Saturday, last Friday. He flew home. He went up to Paris for the mega appearance Friday night. And then he had to leave on Sunday, so he was only home for a couple of days. He's pretty excited. You know,
Once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5.
yeah, he's third.
Am I looking 7?
I think so.
But, and they just signed another one.
Debating if I would pick them right there.
So he's showing up as third string. But
If it truly doesn't work,
the thing is, he's sitting there all the time.
what I mean for,
While you were in there.
it's a touchy system.
I love it.
My horse is, if we want to mess with it, say,
Ready to go.
yours does? Still?
That
Is it with the supposed to?
Oh, that's
Yeah. Because I thought we, there was issues when we solved that. Okay.
It's still talking
Maybe,
about.
there was a discussion before about the
When,
position.
we're accepting it as one, when we just made it an honor. Yeah, I've been thinking about that the whole time.
Hey, you guys need a sign that says, coming soon.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, jeez. She's down there negotiating with 3 people right now on the curb. I think she's selling off the front steps. Really? Oh, yeah, they were bartered back and forth when they came by.
I think she's one less vehicle today. I think they started another vehicle.
Well, she just bought a place in like Pigeon or somewhere, she was saying. You're up and walking this way. Say what?
With these guys?
No. Hey, I'm like that.
As soon as you want, because, we're going to approve the demolition contract tonight.
So I can take it off. Okay. How about we figure out some kind of, I don't think. I don't want the lines over here.
Somebody walking in.
When I see that excavator sitting over there, I actually go over.
If we approve the contract, but I'll get it. Maybe or something.
Okay.
They were put together and then slept on it for.
All right. Yeah, every 5 day week.
Yeah.
That is well deserved.
And then now it's dedicated your second year.
And I do apologize. It's gonna make it easier,
Sure.
Yeah, the amount of that we should have across.
I can only dream. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say a word. It's amazing how that flies so early. Yay, we're gonna get started here in just a minute, everybody.
We made it.
I'm just Joe, how are you? Good. Long time no see. Yeah. How you been? Good, very good. Good. Did you have a good summer? Absolutely. Long as the cool weather goes. I know, in a hush comes over your head. Okay, it is 7 o'clock, so we will call this meeting to order. Today is Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 7 p.m. And this is the first regular town council meeting for the town of Bristol. So we'll call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. Yeah, can we all lead us? Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, start to my left, Doug Smith. Here. Andrew Bedford. Here. Kathy Burke.
Here.
Greg Dolsky. Here. And Jeff Casey here. To my right, Town Manager Mike Yoder.
I am present.
Clerk Treasurer Kathy Antonelli. Legal Counsel Alex Bowman.
Present.
Police For Town Marshal Mike Alvin. Here. And in the back, Fire Chief Nick Cantz.
Good evening.
Evening, Nick. Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, any?
One note,
One note? Okay.
under approval of the minutes, it says approved minutes for 8/13, and that should be 8/3.
Okay. So moved. Any other corrections or additions?
Item A for clerk treasurer, the first reading of 2024 budget ordinance, do we have an ordinance number for that? Somebody do?
It is 10-5-2023-22. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Speak to that, Alex. Any other changes or corrections? Okay, if not, the agenda will stand as corrected. Next item on the agenda, approval of the invoices for the month. Kathy sent the, or Jill sent the invoices out. Do we have a chance to review those?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the invoices for the month.
Okay, motion by Kathy.
Second.
All kinds of seconds. I got the Andrew. Second by Andrew. Open for discussion. No further discussion, like a vote. Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Andrew Medford. Yes. Kathy Burke.
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach, yes. Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda, approval of the minutes, the previous month's minutes, which would be the 8/3 meeting, the 8/15, and the 8/17 meeting. Do we have a chance to review those?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
Okay, motion by Andrew, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Doug, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote. Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Andrew Medford?
Yes.
Kathy Burke?
Yes.
Greg Dolsky?
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda, privilege of the floor, otherwise known as public comment. Is there anyone in the room or on the Zoom call that would like to make public comment this evening?
I would like to introduce you guys. We have three board members of our Bristol homecoming here to give you guys each a recap of the festival this year. Stacy, our president, Martha, vice president, and John, the craft inventors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So they would just like to share with each of you what this festival looks like.
Sure, thank you.
Stacy's in charge of you.
Okay, all in all, it was a good festival, other than we still have the issues with electric. We've had to have,
Mike.
no,
Woody.
Woody come and, fix things during the festival, or try to fix things, but, we need some upgrades done to some of those boxes down there that we've discussed, we don't mind helping with cost. It's our festival, it's a major festival, it's down there, and so, we want things to run smoothly like everybody else does. And so that's our main issue is electric right now. And then the gentleman that does the fireworks, Tom Bellman, had some risk issues, during the fireworks. He said that they've had issues, even last year and this year with, kayakers coming up and walking up to where they're shooting off the fireworks. So he said that's something that really needs to be dealt with so there's no injury.
Okay, well, we can certainly talk about the electrical and, I know it's been an issue.
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised, I thought we had it all fixed, so you'll have to share with us where the problems are. I know we have one of the three-phase lines down, but
one of the three-phase lines went out to the stage, so the stage only had one phase, so any major amount of power couldn't be drawn, for lights and stuff like that.
so we plan on, we'll be fixing that. That's something, so no one will go use it.
told me he would have to trench a line, he couldn't do it during the festival.
Right,
It would have to be done after. He said, I just said, well, I just gotta get through this festival and I'll be happy.
Oh, you want a shovel?
Sure.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Not as a board member, but as a member of the homecoming committee. I'm the treasurer. And we work on a $20,000 a year budget. That is it. And, we helped the last time, pay some part of the electrical upgrade. But in that electrical upgrade that Woody had done then, in some of the major main boxes, he put butt connectors in there, which caused us all sorts of problems. That has been fixed. That's the one on the stage. But just to be clear, as treasurer, we do not have a huge amount of money that we could spend, especially when that same electrical is going to be used for the corn dog festival and that kind of thing. Well, I just want you guys to know that, we only have a $20,000 a year budget, so.
We only have a $2 million budget, we spend 2.1.
Well, then give us the other 1.1 maybe.
Oh, okay.
You mean to pay?
No!
Because you did catch that he said we have a $2 million budget, we spent 2.1.
No.
So you guys want the other $100,000 to pay for, thank you.
No.
So noted.
Anyway, I just.
Anyway, yeah, well, I think it should be taken care of.
Okay, thank you for the update. Appreciate what you all do for us because it's a great festival. The people that visit town and those that attend really appreciate it. It's always a good festival, and the fireworks are great. Hopefully, we keep people from getting bored with them. Yeah.
That's a tough question though, because once they started down the river, they have to get out. So we're starting at Montville. I don't know if we can post something there.
Tried it.
And work.
We have tried everything from boat enforcement here to everything you can imagine. I don't want to get too deep into this because it gets very deep, but the issue is he's in violation of a state contract basically for his safety, and when those people enter that radius, it puts him where he's supposed to stop the show. The problem is when you go, the whole thing goes. Yeah, so there's some issues that we have to logistically look out. And to be honest with you, we've dealt with it historically. It's not a police matter. An enforcement issue can be if somebody is breaking a barricade or something like that. But I'll be happy to have that discussion, but we definitely need to look at that in depth.
We can take them to the other side of the river and comment, except that, the homecoming.
They take up that boat ramp.
Well, and the other option would be to get them further down and actually put a temporary exit, and they'd have to be made aware of that. And the Bristol Police Department calls all the kayak companies the day up to let them know. Still doesn't solve it. But if we put something down Cummins Park, just for a temporary entry exit and allow them the ability to get down and get them and then leave, but it's only how many feet? A quarter mile? So
Yeah.
Just some thoughts.
Well, and Jeff was telling me, and I think he told the rest of the committee at the last meeting, that once he's got those things loaded, but he was talking more about rain. Once those things are loaded, they have to be there. They can stay there overnight if it rains. But there has to be security there with those, because once it's loaded, you cannot unload it. Yeah, and he also was talking about, having a hard time getting back into there where he's trying to.
They've always had it, that's a swamp.
Yeah.
It's always been a swamp.
We put a bunch of mulch back in there at one time, I think.
There was some fill hole back there, so.
Yeah.
It's been filled with DMR.
No, please don't.
It wasn't on the river, it was.
In the wetland?
I've never been there, I don't know if it's wet or not.
It was dry this year.
Okay.
Anyway.
Moving right along. Anyone else would like to make comment this evening? Okay, if not, we'll move right along. Next item on the agenda is our reports. Mike, what do you have for us tonight?
Okay, we're going to pay some bills. First up is the pay application number 3 for the Stillmont Railroad Crossing, $3,307. And I'm listing a few folks now, where we were paying, there's been some questions in the past, this would be Holden South Tip, there's account 412, and August 10th, the appropriation balance in that account is $658,000, so just letting you know, we got the money to pay the bill.
No, what's the, the 93,000? This one right here, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark reviewed that for us.
Yes.
All right, there's a request to approve pay application number 3 for the Stone Mountain Railroad crossing. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Doug,
I'll second that.
second by Andrew, open for discussion. Any update on where we are with the signs for that? With the railroad arms, supposed to be like,
As far as I know, we're still on
October.
schedule. They're supposed to start like the 15th of September, so that's next week.
okay, cool.
Nobody's said anything different.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? Not, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith?
Yes.
Andrew Medford?
Yes.
Kathy Burke?
Yes.
Greg Dolsky?
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
And second is a pay application, first pay application for our community crossing grant, 2023-1. This is the Maple Street project. This is primarily the rushing and clearing. And the amount is $32,837.40 coming from the same fund.
Okay. Motion to approve pay application number 1 for the Maple Street project for $32,837.40.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Andrew,
I'll second.
second by Greg, open for discussion.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. Where was that project done on Maple Street? Was that
South,
just past?
right in the Earthway Drive
Oh, okay, past
intersection
the
area. where all the-
railroad.
Yeah, where all the bushes, trees we cut down, getting ready to little lighting. I think we're trying to get that part done yet this year.
Supposed to mill at 19.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith?
Yes.
Andrew Medford?
Yes.
Kathy Burke?
Yes.
Greg Dolsky?
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, we have an easement purchase as part of our water main project, and Jones is here tonight, so I may let him talk a bit about how he came up with this number of $29,986.
Easily done. I brought visual aids. What's that?
Have you faced these guys?
No, I'm here to help you.
Okay.
Visual aid.
Yeah, visual aid. So, these people were very cooperative. And they have a really nice house at the end of Fox Chase Drive, urban up there. It's, one of the nicer homes, really quite nice on the river. I could do this, but I'd rather use this. So, this is the receiving point for the 12-inch water main that's going to be drilled from the north side of the river up at Look Trailer. Will be coming south across under the river and up into their ground. They actually own 2 lots out there. This is their home. The lot that we are entering on, they plan to do some improvements in the future, likely a pool or something like that. And so, we did follow our normal procedure. We had a waiver evaluation done by a local real estate professional. That's on the second page of that handout. And the fair market value, which probably doesn't surprise you for real estate in that subdivision along the river, is $3.25 a square foot. So that's pretty significant. And so we did our best to try to minimize the area of the easement that we needed from them, so we could not only accommodate the work, but also permanently accommodate the water main in case the town staff ever needs to get there to do anything with it. We also, when we acquired the easement, we acquired the right to use the land, access the water main at any point in time in case there's a problem. This will be 100% directional drill with excavations right there behind the curb there in the yard, and then in the tree lawn along the cul-de-sac pavement. And so it'll be kind of messy in there, and they will then forevermore have a water main along their west property line. We did widen the easement out down towards the river because we were not 100% confident that it will pop up out of the ground where we think it will after it comes under the river. So, we needed that space. I offered to do that, maybe temporarily and then reduce it after the pipe was built, but they said, no, it's fine down in there. Their biggest concern and impact would be up here in their yard.
Okay.
So what we typically do with the easement, after we get the waiver valuation, we usually talk to the property owner and say, we can't really pay you full value for the real estate because we're not buying the real estate to be simple. We're buying the right to occupy it with municipal water main. So, we never pay more than 75% of the fair market value, which drops that square foot calculation down to $2.43. We offered, like we always have to, we have to offer them the option to claim damages on top of that if they choose to. They thought that being paid $29,986,000 for the easement was fine and well and no damages. That's a pretty significant amount for any easement, and the one thing that they are going to be doing here is waiving the right to an appraisal. If you accept this and you wish to, by the way, you don't have to waive your right to an appraisal. You could choose to, at this number, anything over $25,000, you could say, no, we want an appraisal now.
Yeah.
And so what we would typically do in that case is we'd go get two, and we bring that back, and then you would probably pay the average of the two. However, in talking again, the gentleman that does this work for Myers Trust Realty, he's a real estate professional, familiar with the market, and but he is not an appraiser, and that was not what we did here. We did a waiver evaluation. So by accepting this and signing the easement, he's waiving his right to an appraisal, thus the waiver evaluation. So it would be up to you if you feel comfortable that you're getting the value. I don't know. We looked in multiple places up and down the river where we could make this crossing and really to maximize the benefit of the water main extension on the north side of the river, preparing the town for future extensions to the west, and also servicing all of the existing buildings up there that are currently unserved by municipal water. This was really the only place we could make the crossing, and their yard really provided the most room for us to drill and come up in the street there. And then after we make that drilling crossing and come up out of the ground, we're gonna go a couple hundred feet down the road and tie into an 8-inch water main that we have. We'll be just outside the right of way, or just outside the pavement. We won't be in the road, but just outside the pavement. So, we would plan under construction or prior to construction to make sure we go out and have conversations with all the neighbors, make sure they know what's going on. So, they're really nice people. I don't think they're asking for more than what they think the value is, and so I guess I'm open to answer any questions that you might have. Maybe Alex has some questions, or whatever you want me to do, I'll do. So we are making progress with everyone. In other cases, we're able to do some bartering, and that way, you probably heard the bad news that acquisitions for real estate cannot be covered under the state revolving loan fund allocation. So we are trying to do some horse trading in other areas where people need services, so we can maybe cover that in the project. But so this cannot be a reimbursable item in the project. So it has to come from whatever fund can be to draw it from. So regrettable that that's the way that the system works.
Can the set deed on that property then have permanent access for the remainder of history for servicing of maintenance?
Yes. When the easement includes language, we worked on this with Alex and the law firm to make sure that once the easement is built, the town retains the right to use any part of that easement and the adjoining land to reach the easement. And because, you know, obviously, you know, if we had to get down there somewhere near there, we probably want to go around trees just through them, as to through them. With the construction, we're going under them. But, you know, if there were, in the unlikely event that there would be a water main break, we have full rights to get to it.
So it's all underground, all the trees remain?
Yeah, the directional drill, believe it or not, we believe we can make the crossing all the way from, the high bank on Look Trailers, all the way into the river, and we probably won't come up out of the ground until we're in their yard.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And that's a 12-inch
12-inch, yeah.
PVC?
Yeah. No, it'll be a 12-inch HDPE.
Okay.
Pipe. So that's very thick wall, flexible pipe. And, so the way that'll work is, I'm not sure whether the contractor will choose to drill from the south side of the river or from the north side of the river. But wherever they drill from and to, it comes up out of the ground, there'll be a big, bore head with a clamp where we hook the assembled pipe to it and then pull it back under the river. So, yeah, you might want to be around when that.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
We've crossed the river, the St. Joe River several times with a drill like this, and, it's always iffy because you don't know if you're gonna run into a big boulder, you know, that could happen. But typically it goes pretty good, so.
What's that like?
A car.
No, you pull those out there.
Oh, the guns.
No, it could be the dumpster from the town.
Yeah.
No, well, that ended up in 17.
There's the porta potties.
Oh, that was the.
Oh, there's a dumpster down there too.
Yeah, it could be anything.
There's a dumpster down there. But it's,
We'll be well under the bed of the river. We'll be probably anywhere between 6 to 12 feet under the river.
okay. Nice.
I got a question. You said that they own more than one lot. I guess it's the house and this piece of property.
Right.
Then what is this piece of property here?
That is an adjoining property owner.
Okay.
And
I just wondered why you chose one instead of the other.
well, because this one was cooperative and talkative.
Sounds
And the
good.
other one wasn't. The other one was
Sounds good.
not.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes.
That was gonna be my question too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't look like there was a house on that one.
Well,
No.
but she's got that up for $250,000.
Yeah.
Piece of
That's a
property
lot, yes,
without a house.
without a house.
Good for her.
She hasn't sold it yet.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice setting. I don't know. Their home is beautiful. The way they have their. If you ever been by there in a kayak, I was able to go out and sit on the patio over there. It's beautiful. They did a really nice job.
Did they just reuse back into that house? I thought so. I thought that was the house.
Yeah, their outdoor living space is pretty impressive.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
They,
That was Ken Little's property, wasn't it?
I think so.
they did a lot of work on that. Looks really nice. Okay, so there's a recommendation to approve the easement in Fox Chase for $29,986.20. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the acquisition of the easement for $29,986.20.
Okay, a motion by Kathy, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll go to Greg for that second. And open for discussion. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, we'll take a vote. Doug Smith?
Yes.
Andrew Medford?
Yes.
Kathy Burke?
Yes.
Greg Dolsky?
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries. Thank you, Ken, for walking us through that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ken, just a quick question. Sure. Is there any chance you guys are gonna be shooting any video while that's occurring?
Yeah, we typically, for that crossing, we'll want that in our records.
Yeah. Jeff, that would be kind of a neat thing. I'm sorry, Jill, but for the town to get some of that video, just to put it up, because it is a neat thing.
Yeah, the horizontal mooring? Yeah. That would be cool.
The other interesting project will be when the water towers built.
Yeah.
So it's a process. And so what'll happen with the water towers, first thing they do is they go out and, do what they call vibratory, compaction of the earth. And they'll lower that ground down by 10 or 12 feet, then build just from compacting it. And then they'll build the foundation on top of that. set. Oh, there'll probably be 50 little cranes on top of that, and they build the actual bowl on the ground and hoist it up. Cool. And, so it'll be a process. Thinking about putting like a time lapse. Yeah, that would be cool. So.
Thanks, Ken.
That'll be historic for the town.
Yeah.
We haven't had a water tower built in about 100 years.
Yeah. I think the graphics on the side should be Save Paris.
Yeah, well, maybe you could get Monogram Foods to get the naming rights or something.
There you go. Oh, corn dog tower.
All right, have a great night.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. Next on the list, Mike, what do you have?
Okay, we're doing a little neighborhood improvement project. If you could pull up the drawing that I have. We'd like to replace the business sign up at Commerce Drive and State Road 15.
Well, you missed
I missed one?
You missed Amy.
Oh, I am sorry, Amy. Amy is online.
Yes, she is.
There she is. Amy, I'm so sorry. So, we need to make some changes to the wastewater project to a lift station. Amy's here to explain what changes that they're proposing. Just need you to approve that we go forward with the amended contract. So, Amy, please.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So today I'm just presenting an amendment to our contract that we're proposing. So there's two parts, and I guess first of all, to back up and update you, Commonwealth is proceeding with the design of the new wastewater treatment plant and improvement of 3 lift stations in the collection system. That's going smoothly, and we're through the preliminary design process. So as we finish that up, we had a preliminary design meeting, I believe it was towards the end of July. And we identified what is put up on the screen right now, 2 items that are in addition to the current scope of design that we expect to be beneficial to the town. So the first item is replacement of the wet well for lift station 8. Originally, we were going to just replace part of lift station 8, but upon the design progression, we have identified that it would be best to do a full replacement of the lift station. And along with replacing the lift station, we would recommend adding a corrosion inhibitor. This can be in the form of an ozone generator that can dose the wastewater in the lift station to prevent corrosion of the brand new, nice lift station. It has some really bad corrosion issues, so the amount that we have shown here is going to be reflecting the additional plan sheets, surveying, soil analysis, and related design for that lift station replacement. So that's that item. The other item is we are looking at doing a technical memo. So Tim McCandless at the treatment plant has notified us that he's spending a lot of money on the sludge bagging system due to the amount of sludge that is being produced at the treatment plant. So we've been discussing completing a technical memo to analyze potential alternatives for processing sludge that we hope would be a better cost-effective solution. So we're going to complete a life cycle cost analysis for that, so we can give a recommendation for how the town may proceed. And that does not include designing. If we were to say, oh, we need to go with this other system, does not include the design of that, but this should give a good idea of the path forward. So that's the other item. And so in total, we're looking at an increase of the design cost of $34,330. Any questions?
Yeah, so Amy, question for you. This is Jeff B., Chief Council President. So on that technical memo, the sludge processing, is that looking at the potential for, because right now we're dumping wet sludge into the bags. Is this potentially looking at doing, I guess what they call, when we took a tour of it last month, and Tim talked about the sludge coming out dry. Was it through a compression process? Is that kind of what you're looking at there?
Yeah, so the one option, we're gonna look at two different, alternatives, and one of them is, it's like a screw press, it's called.
Yep.
It like squishes the sludge, to get the water out. It's gross, but, it does the screw thing, and, you know, it gets off the water, and then it will still be dumping it into, you know, a dumpster and hauling it off, but it won't require all those expensive, you know, fairly expensive bags that have been getting disposed of, consistently.
Yeah.
So that's one of the options. The other one that we're thinking of is, another type of dumpster that dewaters the sludge, but it doesn't require the bags. So, you know, it's very similar. It just requires a different type of, outfit on the dumpster.
Okay.
How long ago, do you remember how long ago it was? I know you guys were on the council, that we changed to the sludge bag, the bags. It wasn't, what, 6, 7 years?
No.
It was in 2019,
Yeah, 20, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was
So it's
just
only been
before
4
Mike
years,
joined us. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I would think dry sludge would be better.
Yeah, so I think that looking at that technical memo is probably a good step. Because when Tim walked us through that, he talked about the sludge coming out dry as opposed to the wet and having to pull it up that way. Plus those bags, like Amy, like you said, those bags aren't cheap, and found out they're handmade.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's what Tim was telling us.
Well, not only that, but with the additional water, the weight,
Yeah.
you know, that we're paying for
Yeah.
as far as disposal, because the disposal usually charges us per pound.
Yeah, by the time, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and we are, currently in the scope of this design is we're improving the digester itself, to, ideally create a more, a thicker, initial sludge, so it'll have a higher percent solids to begin with. Still, the end result is going to be, very similar, regardless, just less water and stuff to pump, and, you know, no more bags getting thrown away, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to amend the contract?
I'll make a motion to amend the wastewater design contract.
Okay, motion by Kathy,
I'll second that motion.
second by Andrew, open for discussion. No further discussion, take a vote, Doug Smith,
Yes.
Andrew Medford,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky,
Yes.
and Jeff Beats is a yes. Motion carries.
Very good. Thank you, Amy, I promise to never.
Thank
forget-
you.
I promise to never forget you again.
Oh, thanks, Mike. All right, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Amy, have a good night.
I'll remember that till next. Oh, hopefully not. Okay, now back to the new sign. We'd like to replace the sign at Commerce Drive and Sabre 15. So this is the preliminary design. This is the design we're looking at. So we're looking for you folks to approve the design concept, and then we'll get a price, and we'll go out to the businesses to see how many are interested in locating on the sign. We'll come up with a price so they help pay for it. So it won't be entirely on us. Now that sign is a total of 17 feet tall. It's a little outside of our ordinance. And if there's there's only about 12 spots on our street. Yeah, 12 spots. There's no businesses out there. So we may need to make the sign higher. So if you like the concept, we'll move forward and start with pricing and contacting the businesses. We'll also need to be careful about where we locate that. We have to get some permission for easement because of site distance and intersection. But that'll be a nice improvement.
Do we have to do an amendment to ordinance, sign ordinance?
We're going to be working on that, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of an open question between the work we're doing and just the county planning commission as far as it pertains almost exclusively to sign work.
Yeah. What is the height, supposed to be, and the ordinance, do you remember?
Not this time.
Well,
Is it about?
It's square footage.
It is square footage, but there's a height.
But there's a height limit too.
That's the way you get around the building.
Yeah.
Well, we've already granted a variance to the other side that looks like this is sword and rail. It's a similar pattern. They gave us permission to use this as well.
And this would be a digital sign, correct? These boxes would all be digital?
No.
No,
They're
they're not.
standard.
They're lighted, but they're replaceable, so you can replace them. I think. Keep moving down. Let's see what it says.
So why do you really push through?
Is that accurate?
Right, yep, I think they're just like tape, not tape, but you know what I mean, that what we used to do?
The bottom half.
They're calling it a cabinet, so I'm assuming that the behind it can be changed.
No, left-hand faces. Okay. For some reason I thought they were digital on the sword and rail one.
No, they're not.
Okay. Okay.
Push through it, pull it up, cover it.
Okay.
All right. So just thumbs up or thumbs down on the design. If you don't like the design, you come back and do something different.
It looks good.
Like, just so everybody knows, I've talked to Mike about this, just because it'd be nice to have consistency in the industrial park signs. And while the one that's there now serves a purpose, it's still a little outdated. And it'd be nice to have something a little bit more contemporary and consistent, like we've got Sword and Rail.
This may be a stupid question, but if each one that's listed on there, do they pay a fee to be on there?
Originally, they did.
But they don't.
There's not any. Somebody was sharing that, I think a business owner up there, the businesses up there got together and put that sign up. I don't think the town had anything to do with it. You know, Dean, anybody else? I wonder.
I don't believe that there was ever any consensus, it was more of a, let's just put this here, because even where it's located. Is this proposed to be an annual renewal for the lease on the square?
Thought about that. That's an interesting
Yeah.
For maintenance and other.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll want to have some lighting up there and there'll be some annual calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as businesses, hopefully don't rotate, but may.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Good idea.
And would those Lux-in faces, would those be backlit?
I think they need to be lit in some fashion, but good question. I'll come next time we come back with this with some costing, whatever. I may have the designer just show up, come to the meeting.
Okay.
And actually, the bottom it says internally illuminated with white LEDs.
There we go.
So it is backlit.
Okay.
So yeah, it'd be just a hollow cabinet. Yep.
And it's double-sided.
Yep. There you go.
I like a little illumination up there, it's actually beneficial for us too. Just nice to have some light.
But there would not be any fee to cover cost of electricity or anything like that.
That's what Mike was suggesting. Maybe we do charge a fee for that.
Yeah. It wouldn't have to be very much.
Okay.
The Lions chief contacted me last week, wanted to know how they could get on the existing sign. I said, okay.
Straight rate?
He's getting for graffiti.
Yeah.
Be facing a 7.
So we are good to go?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Next up, just a couple report items. When we toured the wastewater treatment plant, it seemed like there was consensus we needed to do something new for the office space, the lab space, and the maintenance building space. So we have received a quote from JPR to design, we will do a design, bid, build process. So JPR is supplying us a quote, and Commonwealth is supplying us a quote too, so we'll see how those come in to do the design and bid process. Should have that next month, I hope. House demolition on St. Joe Street, I was just going to tell you I was waiting on the third bid. I do have the third bid, so I'd like you to approve the low bid tonight so we can move forward on that project. Midlock, this will also be demolishing the old telephone building near the Charles Street parking, building over the Charles Street parking lot. There's that small block building.
Yes.
This is included in this as well. So Midlock is $33,850. West Michigan Earthworks is $29,595. And A&D Lawn and Landscaping on Middlebury is $14,500. So I'm recommending A&D Lawn and Landscaping. And they've done quite a bit of this work, so I'm really sure.
Okay.
What's that?
So they're licensed, bonded, and insured, correct?
Yes, they are. Well, interesting what the difference is, and A&D's pretty smart about this. The other two, they have their own trucks, and they haul their own waste. A&D will have roll-offs brought in on site, because all I do is use my excavator, put stuff in there. One company comes and loads it up, takes it away.
Big difference.
And then you've got Van coming in to do the tree work. The other guy's going to do the tree work on himself. Yeah. So he put together a pretty reasonable, cost-effective bid. I'm impressed.
Nice. Okay.
I make a motion to accept what is it? A&D Lawn Care.
Yes.
Okay, motion by Kathy, is there a second? Second by Doug, all for discussion? No further discussion, take a vote, Doug Smith?
Yes.
Andy Redford? Yes. Kathy Burke?
Yeah.
Greg Dolsky?
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes.
Okay, thank you. Secondly, talk a little bit about video recording of the council meetings. It just occurred to me, and this happened on a couple meetings, we've been trying to get input from people that are on the Zoom call. I'm not sure we need to do that anymore. So I want to bring back to you those recommendations on, since we went from no interaction to total seclusion, and then the Zoom calls, and then hybrid meetings, and Zoom meetings, and hybrid meetings, and now we've got something else going on. The state has just passed a requirement that starting next July, that we have to have, that we archive video recordings of our meetings. So I'm moving towards that, so I'm trying a few different things. Well, first of all, I'd like to come back to the recommendation on what we do and what we don't have to, what we have to do, and then you guys choose what you want to do as far as interaction with those. One option that I'm probably going to prefer is that the only people on the Zoom call are those that are participating in the meeting. If I do one of you that's joining remotely, it'll be our consultants, our attorneys, and if there's a citizen that wants to interact that way, they just call the town manager, Kathy, or Jill, and they'll be able to. Everybody else will watch a live stream somewhere else, either on YouTube or Facebook. YouTube is a good place to just archive our videos, so the county uses, and I can link that then on the web page, so everybody wants to go back in time and watch the council meeting, they can do that. I've changed cameras out tonight because the easiest way for us to record is doing what we're doing right now. We're recording the Zoom meeting. But people need to see that. If you look up on the screen, that little corner, they need to see you folks all the time. And so I'm checking that with this camera. That'll be an option. Currently, I'm testing out the quality of our bandwidth here with Surf Air because I'm live streaming to YouTube right now, and I'm on Zoom, and you are on Zoom. So we're tasking this pretty well. Everything's working great. We've got great connections. So that's cool. So we'll have options.
We're high tech.
Well, it's sort of high tech. The computer came off my basement shelf. It's like 3 years old. This came out of the basement of the town hall here. There's a $100 cheap that's a cheap remote wireless camera back there. The quality is so that it works for us. Town hasn't purchased that yet. We may find something that's a little nicer now. We'll see.
Okay.
But I'm just testing out options. That's where we're headed. So we'll have something next January 3rd. better, just something better for the community. If we live stream on Facebook, a lot of people easily watch us.
Right.
And so that might be the way we do that.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on that? All right.
No, thank you.
Great. Maple Street Railroad Crossing, we already talked a little bit about that. Dean and I are working through, and I just invited JPR to join this discussion a little bit too. We need to do some forewarning of people. I'm not sure when we're going to put up signs, and we've decided where we want to put up signs announcing that Maple Street Railroad Crossing is closed. And so we'll do that on State Road 120 and Maple Street, for sure down Earthway and Maple Street as well. Say from Legion on, it's a private road. So we're working on that. If that happens October 1st, I'm not sure how much time we have between the time that the new crossing is open and when we have to close the other. I'm hoping to give about 14 days to just give people an opportunity to.
So it's gonna happen that quickly?
I can't get a clear answer out of the railroad other than soon.
What's new?
What's soon? But I don't think we can let it go a month. That's my guess. They want that closed.
Okay.
And really, after a couple of weeks, the regular drivers, we'll give them a week with signage and it's open, and then another week, or maybe 2 weeks with signage there saying on such and such day, this crossing will be closed. So they've got some time to adjust.
Is there any way we can get the state to make their street maps adjustments in a more timely manner, since this is, I mean, we have a lot of semis go down through there, and,
You mean like Google and all those?
no, I'm talking about, the state, well, yeah, if you wanna talk it like Google, but the state has the mappage for a lot of these semi drivers grading. Am I correct?
They don't,
What do they
a lot of them
do?
will not follow GPS.
Okay,
They'll take instructions from whichever customer or purchaser.
okay,
and
yeah,
give
cause
directions.
you should know, yeah.
The-
I just thought, because a lot of times we have changes in the town, and when you go to look it up, it's 6 months before they'd even look at Industrial Parkway down there. How long did it take for that to get,
Well, that's getting Google to update their maps.
Yeah.
And like the Waze, some of the apps for GPS.
I don't know all that.
Those don't account for truck routes.
Right.
Non-truck routes are more clear. So truck drivers are just avoiding them all.
Okay,
And the state really doesn't have anything to do with any of that.
it does, okay.
A lot of times the dispatchers, they're doing the routes, and unfortunately, I'm going into this with French Canadian, and I don't know why, it seems like the biggest one. They have no idea. So we're gonna continue to have that, which is part of it.
Yeah.
And that intersection at Depot and Maple is going to be damaged.
Yes.
Is there a hydrant there?
Yeah, on the
west side.
Okay.
It's gonna get moved.
Okay.
So we are modifying, because we had some not positive interaction with the owner of that RV transport lot, we needed a little bit of easement. We wanted a lot of money for it, so we redesigned the intersection, so we don't need any easement. But we're gonna make it as semi-friendly as we can, and Dean and his crew out with some measurements, we think we can do it, but. And the utility pole's still gonna be moved. Something, if it's damaged, it's not the town fault. Anyways.
So, that'll delay about a year.
Well, we are going to move that utility pole. That was already scheduled.
Oh, good.
I think we want that done. But until semis learn that that's not where they want to be, it could be a little hairy.
Is that gonna be a cul-de-sac there?
No, you'll come down Depot and turn north on the. But we'll probably put a stop sign there. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Really don't need to do anything.
Not to stop on Depot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a curve.
Free for all.
And then,
Yeah,
that's
you
slow.
get there, figure out what to do.
That's all it is, you can only go one way.
We're hoping we can get it wide enough to facilitate everything. we did some work with our trailers and stuff, trying to see, and there's gonna come congestion at some point, you need two semi at the same time, there's no way
Yeah.
around it. But for the most part, if they work together, they get around there.
Okay.
Is that a pretty big impact to you guys, Nick?
Yeah.
Closing that.
That railroad crossing.
Use
That
it
help?
They're close.
lots of times.
You guys
Lots of times in a day.
Cause now you're gonna have to go down to industrial.
Response times will be slow, a lot slower, probably by 6 minutes.
So is that response times to which, to the industrial park businesses? Okay.
Mostly Robert Weed.
Yeah,
Right.
guys.
Cause you're gonna have to go south to go north.
I mean, historically, had a lot of calls at Robert Weed.
We go to the industrial park fairly often.
Why don't you go down Conroe to Bloomingdale and out down Industrial?
I'm sorry?
Instead of going down Main Street, south on Maple, why not we do the Ponderosa to?
That's what we'll have to do.
I see, and then you just.
But now, now we just either go down Section Road to Maple.
I see.
Part of it has to do with just habit. The old people, old guys, I'll include myself in that. They're in a station. They're in a station, so they tend to always go in the same location. We come from all over, and so, oh crap. That's just, it's gonna happen.
Definitely, if you're on the other.
And I guarantee you, it's gonna happen a lot until we figure it out. That's okay.
Yeah, it's probably not a choice anyway.
Yeah.
It's
starting down, yeah.
I remember when it first came out, you guys were talking about the response times being slower, so, okay.
After dispatch from the county tells you if North Division says about like it was.
Well, that's the other thing too, is when they get us dispatches to what side of Maple Street, what side of. There's no different than 29, 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hope they're ready.
Yeah.
Most of the time, 99%.
Anything else on that? Not. The last thing I have is the work session. I don't have any particular topics that I suggest we think about, talking about fire department contract, or fire department, township folks. We'll talk to some issues that are fun. That'd be my suggestion.
And I'll be referring to it, September 19th work session.
Is that what you want to do?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, given the data that you shared with us, so thank you for that.
That's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Mike? Okay, a lot of good information, thanks for all that.
One other thing, since we were talking about screw presses and sludge, I'm not sure if you saw the email, but interesting coincidence, we had a company from Israel that was in the state, had they were invited by the Indiana Department of Agriculture to participate in exhibition in Indianapolis. So he drove up here. He reached out to me via LinkedIn and must work with a small town. He takes city sludge and animal waste and others, and he has a patented earthworm, and he uses earthworms to turn the sludge into soil. We'd like to take a look at Bristol. So we may have a spot for our sludge, not only ours, but Middlebury's, Goshen's, and the food waste from Monogram. We would love to do that. So that would be a really interesting new business for town. Be pretty cool too.
Okay. Mike, I was thinking a dehydrator, you could just sell it for chips for your heating system.
Okay, that's all I got.
The next county over you.
Okay. Okay, moving right along, Kathy, what do you have for us tonight?
First, I would like to thank Mike and Jill because they put hours, and all our department heads as well, put hours of time into working on the 24 budget. So Mike sent that out to everybody to review.
Yep.
So in front of you, you have the ordinance for the 2024 budget. This is the first reading tonight. Approval, final approval, date of adoption will be October 5th.
Where's that? Do we have a?
There's not a grand total
There's
on
not a
that
grand total, okay.
form, but it's a combination of the adopted budget column on the first page and the home rule fund column on the back page.
Okay.
$7,498,148.
Okay. So for our next step in this, do we have, is this just a motion, or is there a public meeting that has to be opened?
Not on the first reading.
Okay.
Correct. First reading puts it before you, you know it's there.
Okay.
And then we move towards adoption. That's when by post time.
Okay. Sorry, Kathy, what was that number again? 7,000,000?
498.
498.
148.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve on first reading the 2024 budget in the amount of $7,498,148?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion by Andrew,
I'll second.
second by Kathy. Open for discussion. I would just say this, thank you to Mike, Kathy, and Jill, and Mike for putting this together, and for Nick and Jimmy for putting your number together as well. That's part of this, so it's a lot of work to go into a budget. Personally, I appreciate all the hard work you all did, so. Any additional discussion? If not, we will take a vote. Doug Smith.
Yes.
Andrew Redford.
Yes.
Kathy Burke.
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. I had just a notation on the agenda in regards to the disconnect notices that I sent to everybody.
Yeah.
That was just so I had something to get out for this month. Andrew sent, I don't know if everyone saw the email that Andrew sent, that had a little more state information as far as what's allowed for disconnects. And maybe Alex, you and I can review that before the next meeting and present something.
We did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Kathy?
Just curious, how many letters do you have to send out?
This month I sent out 53.
Wow.
This
But-
is?
That's just letters. We probably will have a couple, if that, most people pay it.
They're basically past due notices, right?
Okay. Okay. Alex, what do you have for us tonight?
Thanks, sir. Three items for me this evening. The first is a first reading and public hearing on the annexation ordinance, which is 921-2023-20. So I'll start with a brief introduction. This is another voluntary request for annexation into the town of Bristol. This is a petition that was received by the town on behalf of the Barbara Wilhelm Irrevocable Family Trust and the Donna Mary Fletcher Irrevocable Family Trust, so the landowners of the parcels that are identified there on your screen. This is property, I believe it's on the south end of town, bordered by County Roads 14, 21, 23 respectively. It's just over 416 acres of land. Like we said, this is a super voluntary annexation, so these two landowners have consented to bring this petition before council for approval, and so it was here before you this evening on first reading. I'll make a note for the record that the notice of the public hearing for this evening was appropriately published, appropriately in time published, and so happy to answer any preliminary questions you may have. Other than ask that the council open up the public meeting for purposes of discussion of this ordinance.
Okay. So at this time, we'll open up a public hearing regarding the super voluntary annexation for ordinance 9-21-2023-20. Is there anyone in the room that would like to make comment regarding this annexation? State your name.
Yeah, Ryan Elliott, I'm trying to say my address, that's all that. Anyways, I guess I'm just kind of curious, I live right next to where this is gonna get annexed. So, I'm concerned on what it is. It says right there, it's gonna go from agriculture to manufacturing. As a neighbor, I'm concerned about traffic, I'm concerned about trash, I'm concerned about noise, I'm concerned about pollution, the safety of my children in the neighborhood, just all the above. So, I'm really here to kind of figure out where we're at in this process, what we're doing, and kind of have those questions answered. I know you guys are kind of new into this. I've never been one to speak, so don't know how it goes. But yeah, that's my concern.
Okay.
Where are we at in this process? Has it been annexed? I know we're going through the process now. What's the likelihood and what options I have to object to it?
I can address the legal requirements to it. So this is a petition. Landowners who are adjacent to a municipality in the state of Indiana have the opportunity by statute to petition the adjacent municipality for annexation into the town. So it's a matter of right of the landowners to petition the town to do so. Now, the discretion, of course, then relies upon this body here to make that decision as to whether to essentially accept the petition and what comes along with it. This is, from a legal standpoint, this is the really the earliest stage. So the petition has been received. I believe that petition is part of the meeting minutes, meeting file. The next step, so the important part is to have your commentary heard at the public meeting today, so that's something that the council can digest. The next step in this process, if the council wishes to push this on to a second reading of the ordinance, our municipal advisors prepare what's called a fiscal plan that is prepared for the town, prepared for the council, that describes all of the fiscal impacts that the annexation would have as far as cost to the town, the provision of utilities, impacts on traffic, impacts on capital improvements, things of that nature. That, unfortunately, isn't presented until, I don't believe that will be prepared for this until the second reading on the 21st. But it was, statute requires that fiscal plan is heard and adopted by the council prior to the approval of any annexation. So probably the short answer to your question, no annexation has occurred yet.
Correct.
But it has been requested, and now the wheels are turning to evaluate whether that's or not.
Can I still ask a question?
Yes.
What rights do the neighbors have that live down in that corner? I know there's quite a bit of houses around 23, and then there's a pretty good group of our houses down there in that corner of 23. Are we gonna get notices stating that in our mailbox, or is the public notice that's published in the Goshen News that I have to search for the public notice that we get?
Well, so it's I believe, and I don't want to speak out of turn on this, but I do believe that landowners who are adjacent to, it's a very limited, space, a couple hundred yards kind of thing. To the property owners are notified by mail, I believe. Other than that, I too have concerns about how public notices are prescribed by statute. But that's what statute provides, that they're published in a newspaper of general circulation. And so as far as voicing continued concern, the next meeting, when that fiscal plan is heard, that would be the opportunity to present that. And those materials will be available at the meeting. I don't believe they'll be published prior to, but generally speaking, there is either myself or someone from Baker Tilly who makes that presentation on the fiscal plan.
Thank you. I can address, I think the zoning issue is probably much of a concern to me.
Well, this goes right along with it, because if it gets adopted, they're gonna try to rezone it. But I can try to address my concerns at both of those places to object to it.
Maybe you can help out some. Jeff moved the map up to where our bypass will be going.
Yeah, because M2 is heavy manufacturing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you drive Rail Park Drive and Earthway, that's the type of industrial manufacturing that's envisioned on that land. Jeff, if you could trace where the bypass will be, all the traffic is going to be focused right along the north edge of that traffic, or that land. So our intent is not to increase traffic on County Road 23. It's to drive it all north to the new road and right over to 20.
So what about all the land that they would be requesting to have annexed south of 23?
South of 23.
Go to the right. Yeah, right there.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Then you keep just going right on over, that's them, keep going over, that's them.
So that will be impacted on, right, or what's Maple, what is it? Yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there. No, yeah, right there. Because this is an old map, because that's where, this is the new Thor property. This is Valmont, so it's not showing the Valmont buildings.
So that's, I guess, part of my concern, because I see that land going down in there. Well, they're still gonna have to travel 23 to get through there.
To get up to the main road.
I know we have our bypass in there, but there's still residents that go to work there. They're coming from the south side of 17, that are not gonna drive up, and now we have, I don't know, maybe you guys have a better estimate of how many possible employees that's gonna draw.
Not until we know what the industries are. Trend now is towards more automation. So big factories, big square footage factories, maybe 50 employees, that sort of thing. But I don't know. No,
that's exactly. I see Elkhart County manufacturing over there, and that's labor and produced.
Well, actually, the new Thor plant is supposed to be the first automated RV we'll see. They've been saying that for 5 years. And say it on half of its time. One of the other things is with the M2 zone, and this will be a council decision, but right now there is requirements for buffering to residential. So there'll be some buffer, some people find that fine, others say it's not adequate. But the council can impose additional buffering if the residential, and the residents show up. So anybody that's within 300 feet will be notified by mail.
I'm trying to say it was Ryan.
Yeah.
So that's you, right? Okay, I just want to make sure. So that's you and your wife there. Okay.
And Ryan, what I can tell you is one of the things, I've been here 28 years and seen this community develop, and I'm the police chief, so I see everything that comes up that road, the speeds, and the alcohol bottles, and all the things that you're seeing as well. It's just been something that we've seen in the development, and especially the alcohol bottle. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
The red bottle.
Yeah.
One guy that's got a problem.
Yeah. So, but the issue is we've seen that kind of progressively as we continue to grow. we try to keep those drivers off the roads. But the speeds, and I'm watching the speeds, even though that's not our jurisdiction now, we are down there.
In noise, I mean, there's cars that don't have off.
Oh, I know.
There's
I know.
2 or 3 that I swear
Yeah.
they've been through. But it's that and trash. I know we have ordinances on buffers and we have ordinances on trash, but those aren't guarantees. We've all seen on the east side of 15 what blows across the road in the farmer's field. You know, they're not supposed to be littering, but it happens.
Mike, what percentage of the traffic that's going south out of the industrial park is going that way because it's hard to get on 15? We have a better signalized intersection on 15 with it.
No, what's interesting, we find, and this is, as we make the traffic stops down in that area, and we're not down there a ton, but we are, we're making the traffic stops. What we're seeing, the majority is the alcohol bottles. We just see tons and tons of that. I mean, it's amazing to meet the volume of alcohol consumed and tossed on that road right there in a short span. Bottom line is, and that for us, it's a safety issue of somebody's consumed that alcohol and they're on our roadways. What we're finding is they're often from South Bend, and they're working at manufacturers back there. They're heading back 14, getting on 17, getting on 20 to their house. That's what we see the majority.
So going to 20.
Yeah.
And that bypass, they're gonna fix much for that.
I wonder if the new rail crossing though still might allow them to get up to 120 and head over 17. That'd be shorter. Maybe.
I don't know how you advertise it.
And they'll figure it out.
Before they drink.
Yeah.
That's not
And,
gonna be a road
I
anyway.
think, to be the naysayer here, they probably don't wanna get on the main roads while they're drinking.
They have that
But
bottle
on that
too at his
curb
house.
road is unbelievable.
They what?
They have that bottle, and the shot bottles, they haven't consumed by itself. Just go down there and look, they're all over the road. It's amazing.
We walked
It's
that road.
amazing though, that they would do that on such a curved road. I mean, that, I took my granddaughter out there to learn how to go around curves when she learned to drive.
They do have 27.
Yeah, it's all over, and it's just, I sympathize with you, if there's really not a lot, I mean, other than keeping them off the roadways and making the traffic stops for who's running off the road, left of center, speed violations. And again, that's not our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
It would potentially, depending on how you divide that road, could be, but.
It'd be right on the line.
Yeah, and if you're on the line, you're gonna be down there.
And I guess that is part of it, yes, traffic and that, but then also my neighbors and noise manufacturing. That's the other part of it. So it's dual sided there.
I'll say this, I don't speak for the council, I speak on behalf of the police department and so forth. Growth is a good thing, and there is a cost to growth, we all have, and when you're the neighbor, it's painful. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
So. Yeah, we moved in there, there were no lights, and we knew where, we did our due diligence to see where the boundaries were, and we thought, okay, that's where they're staying. And that's why I went off track, so. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for voicing your concerns.
Feel free to invite any additional comment, either from the audience or, people who may be having a hearing online.
It looks like there are. Any other comments from the crowd? Okay, if not, at this time we'll close the public meeting. Next action item would be to approve on first reading, ordinance 9-21-2023-20. This is for voluntary annexation of the Wilhelm Farm. Is there a motion to approve on first reading?
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading.
Okay, a motion by Greg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Doug. Open for discussion.
And point of order, perhaps, given the commentary, at least the record reflected as being advanced on first reading as opposed to approved on first reading.
Oh, okay.
To give the remonstrators and the public a little bit that doesn't happen today.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Can I make a motion to advance on first reading, annexation of Wilhelm Farm, ordinance 9-21-2023-20.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Greg, second by Doug. Open for discussion.
No further discussion, by vote. Doug Smith?
Yes.
Andrew Medford?
Yes.
Kathy Burke?
Abstain.
Greg Dolsky?
Yes.
And Jeff Beachy is a yes. So, motion is passed. I will say this, though, for you, Ryan, that, you know, as Mike said, we can put stipulations on buffers. So, and we've done that in the past, and we can do that again. We did that with the MJB property, where they had the setback so far, they couldn't be so high. Noise regulations had to be below a certain decibel level, lights, the same thing.
Enforcement is the problem. We have a lot of those, I know we're past that already, but that's where I see, we have a lot of these as a county regulations already, but the enforcement is where everything crumbles.
Well, I think we can make the enforcement on the buildings themselves. And the
buffers happen.
Yeah.
They happen or they don't get an occupancy
Yeah.
permit.
So we can control that. Now, what we can't control are the things like Marshall will talk about. And as you mentioned, the loud cars, the fast cars, the trash. Those are the kind of things that are harder for us to manage. The buildings, the buffers, the restrictions on the property, we can control those as a town. So
It's hard enough to control the loud cars going down 120. I mean, I just live down the street and the cars are, I don't know where they're coming from, but I don't think they ever have.
okay, what's your next item, Alex?
Next item is, on the first reading again, I'll introduce, ordinance 2023-21, which is an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Bristol, Indiana, establishing a voluntary annexation fee and amending Chapter 110 of the Town of Bristol, Indiana Code of Ordinances. So this ordinance, as proposed, accomplishes two things. It helps clear up some of the, there's a schedule of fees that exist in code presently. And over time, there have been some fees throughout the code that are reflected in one code section, but then the updated amounts aren't reflected in the schedule of fees. So this helps reconcile any of those other fees with the current fee schedule. And it also introduces, for the first time, a fee for voluntary annexations. This is a new chapter under the code. It's in Title 9, Chapter 98, which we can title Voluntary Annexation. And it essentially provides for a process for voluntary annexation, which is duplicative in the sense of what the state statute already requires, but then introduces a voluntary annexation fee. The amount that's proposed here is $500 per annexation petition, which is to be accompanied with a petition for voluntary annexation. And the effort is to help offset some of the administrative costs of getting parcels into the town. Mike can tell you that it's not necessarily cheap for the town to even entertain voluntary annexations. As that statement may imply, it's not just a handshake and an agreement. There are hard costs that go into entertaining these petitions, and so this helps to offset that. There are other municipalities in Elkhart County that have adopted a similar fee structure to the city of Elkhart is one. I forget if Goshen has as well.
I don't, but they're looking at it, and Middlebury is as well.
So
they said Bristol should take the lead.
Yeah, right.
So that's the way that this particular ordinance is structured. Again, this is on first reading. So there's no action that needs to be taken upon it tonight. From a financial standpoint, Mike's probably in a better position to talk to the actual hard costs that go into it and why this particular fee may be beneficial for the town. So with that, happy to answer any question, otherwise I'd just ask for this to be advanced to second reading.
So is $500 enough?
That's what I was saying.
Good knowledge.
So $500 basically is our cost of publications and all that. After this, we'll be introducing a packet. We're going to push those initial costs off onto the person making the decision. So all those costs that we've been incurring on our attorneys, they will incur with their attorneys. So you'll see a packet. We provide them a template for everything, including the public notice. So that they'll do that cost. So that cost will be on them. So this is opposed to charging a fee and us doing work. We're pushing the work off on them, and the only fee we're charging is for the public notice.
So is an annexation for a larger area, acreage, cost the same amount as for a smaller acreage?
Pretty much, it doesn't charge.
The way this is, so the way this ordinance is drafted, there would be no difference.
Right, but I'm wondering, if in normal business, is there a difference between a small, say a 1 acre plot, or a 3 acres, 6 acres, whatever, versus 400 acres?
Yeah.
Is there a difference? Is it per acre? Is it a fee, general fee? That's what I'm wondering.
I would envision, so I see the annexation process and the costs involved kind of in buckets, and a lot of it's kind of fixed. So the preparation of the documents is relatively fixed and straightforward. The hearing process, the presentation process, that's all relatively straightforward. I would imagine where a lot of the legwork goes in is in the preparation of the fiscal plan. That I think would be very cost dependent on the size of the size of the parcels, because if it's a case in point would be the handful of acres for the apartment complex. That issue there, of course, I'm not a municipal engineer or advisor in the big utility sense, but looking at that issue would be much more straightforward, I think, than if you were to evaluate the impact that 400 acres would have on the town. And so there, I think, is where there would be a difference in costs.
So that could actually be like a per acre or per 5 acre or per 10 acre fee.
It could.
I mean, I'm just thinking.
My recollection is, and I think we see this a bit in the packet that I'll introduce outside of there. It certainly can be structured that way. Small acquisitions, small territories, or a nominal fee, more significant would be something greater. That's flexibility that certainly would be in the council's hands to introduce that type of schedule.
It seems like everybody that works on these work by the hour. The attorneys, the financial consultants, they're all by the hour, and whether it's 20 acres or 400 acres, a lot of it's just the same. Where we drive up a lot of costs. The apartment complex has, 5 or 6 acres? We did 2 annexations to get that in. And in one, we're getting 400 acres here. But coming up, we have another voluntary annexation is in the process right now that takes in the RV parking lot on State Road 15 and the property right across the road, and then there'll be a property north of that. So we have a instead of doing this all in one fell swoop, we again have to do a sequential thing just to get all the boundaries right. And I want to know that on somebody else.
All the contiguous lines. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be doing another 300 maybe acres here in the next couple of months. This is a big time growth for south side of town. Not in your neighborhood next time.
That's a pretty dang close.
Other side of 15.
Just ask for others. So, statute, as you know, drives the annexation process, and while I suppose it makes sense in a vacuum, with the apartment land to have it, 2 separate annexations, that's what statute requires, given that particular setting. So this is a fee to help offset that, and this packet that I'll introduce, I think maybe have some and some additional clarity to what that process looks like.
So is there a motion to advance the first reading of ordinance 9-21-2023-21, establishing an annexation fee of $500?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Andrew, second by Kathy. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Take a vote. Doug Smith.
Yes.
Andrew Bedford.
Yes.
Kathy Burke.
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Council. The last item I have this evening is this long-awaited packet for application for voluntary annexation. So as we've gone through this process, you've seen that there are a number of components to it. Written components, there's plenty of not only factual work product, but attorney work product. This is, in its most basic form, an application that gives a petitioner instructions on how to seek a petition for annexation. It lays out the all the information for the petitioner. It includes the attachments to the petitions that's required, the filing fee, the proof of ownership, the timetable. All of that is included in this packet. And the idea being that that's something that's available at Town Hall, that folks who seek to be annexed into the town can take and do on their own time, and then present the full completed package along with the proposed filing fee to the council for consideration. So presently, the way that works is there's work that's done on the attorney end of things to prepare the petition and to coordinate with the petitioners, and then to prepare the notice, and then to prepare the ordinances, and all of that is done ad hoc. This packages it in so that it can be all ready to go and almost wrapped up with a bow by the time it gets to you. So that's the idea. If you haven't had a chance to peruse the packet, I think it should be very helpful. It should help eliminate a lot of costs to the town from an administrative standpoint. And I think petitioners should find it helpful as well. It really lays out the process in a very straightforward, matter-of-fact way. What I would ask, if council is inclined, is perhaps not through a formal resolution, but to adopt the publication of this packet for use by the town and the petitioners. That would be asked.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it.
Can it be franchised so that Goshen and Middlebury?
Actually, I already shared it with Middlebury, they love it.
Yeah.
And it will marry.
And then
I'll be sure my legal bill.
I was gonna say, we
No, we all love each other, we help each other out. I use Goshen's chicken order.
Yeah, that's true. Reciprocity.
And this is one where I wish I could take a lot of credit for it. Scott Frizzell, my colleague, put probably 99% of the legwork into it, and the 1% is me presenting for you.
Nice. Then you did a great job.
I make a motion that we approve publication of the application pack.
Okay.
Is that all you need, Alex?
I think that would be just fine.
Okay. Motion by Kathy.
I'll second that.
Second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion. We can vote. Doug Smith.
Yes.
Andrew Bedford.
Yes.
Kathy Burke.
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, council. That's all I have for you this evening.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. Anybody have anything for Alex tonight? Okay. None. Moving right along. No new business. No unfinished business. Town council items. Doug, anything tonight?
Nothing.
Okay. Andrew? No. Kathy?
No.
Greg? No. And I don't think I have anything either.
I just added that in case Greg wanted to bring it up tonight. It sounds like we're going to do a work session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. If nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Andrew. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.